Once upon a time in the distant future, humanity learned to explore the stars. Earth had become a melting pot of cultures and progressed beyond imagination. Space stations and colonies dotted the galaxy, and humans lived in harmony, working with other alien species. Among these species were the peaceful Nari, the fierce Zorith, and the wise Eldrin. But the galaxy was not all peace and unity. Rumors spread of a dark force gathering in the outer reaches, a malevolent race known as the Vortax. One evening in the year 3045, Captain Mia Chong stood at the bridge of her ship, the Starfire. Her ship was a proud emblem of humanity, exploring uncharted regions with a crew that felt like family. Beside her was her trusted first officer, Jax, a Zorith with scales that shimmered like emeralds. Their engineer, Kira, was a Nari, small yet quick, with silver skin and large round eyes that glowed in the dark. The wise elder Veller of the Eldrin species often visited the ship, providing knowledge from the old ways. As Mia gazed at a swirling nebula through the viewports, the calm was broken by the sudden beeping of the ship's alert system. Jax and Kira turned their attention to the screen, while Elder Veller stepped forward, sensing the gravity of the moment. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal from a nearby colony," he said, his voice like a calm river. "It is the planet New Haven, a human settlement that has encountered the Vortax." Mia inhaled sharply, her heart pounding. "What do we know about the situation?" "The Vortax are attacking," Jax replied, clenching his fists. "They target colonies for resources, and they show no mercy." Mia felt a surge of determination. The galaxy had turned its back on those in need, but humanity would respond. "Prepare the ship for a jump. We need to help them." In the blink of an eye, the Starfire dashed through space. The crew worked as a well-oiled machine, driven by the shared purpose of saving their fellow humans. Within moments, the vibrant blue and green sphere of New Haven came into view, but it looked nothing like it should. Smoke plumed from the surface, and dark ships hovered ominously overhead. "Incoming transmissions from the planet," Kira shouted, her fingers dancing over the console. "They need help, urgently." Mia turned to her crew. "Listen, we might be facing a large Vortax fleet. We are outnumbered, but we cannot leave them to suffer. We will engage." With a silent nod from her crew, Mia plotted an attack vector. The Starfire surged forward, weapons primed and ready. "All hands to battle stations." As they approached the colony, the Vortax ships unleashed a rain of plasma fire. The Starfire shuddered under the impact, alarms blaring. But Mia remained calm, guiding the ship with her skill. "Target the lead Vortax cruiser," she commanded. Jax quickly executed the order, returning fire with the ship's heavy lasers. The energy beams struck true, igniting the enemy ship in a brilliant explosion. "Good hit," Kira cheered, her eyes sparkling with excitement. But victory was short-lived as more Vortax appeared, swarming like locusts. The Starfire shook again, and Mia felt the ship struggle. "Elder Veller, can you help?" Mia turned to the wise Eldrin, praying for guidance. Veller's eyes closed briefly as he focused. "The Vortax rely on fear and chaos. Use their own strengths against them. We can turn their tactics back on them." Mia, inspired by Veller's words, formulated a daring plan. "Jax, prepare a feigned retreat. Kira, keep powering up our shields. We need to draw them in close." Understanding flashed in Jax's eyes. "A trap. Let's do it." The crew executed the plan flawlessly. The Starfire swung away from the battle, appearing weak and damaged. The Vortax, sensing victory, pursued eagerly. But as they came closer, Mia signaled for Kira to alter their shields and cut their engines.
"Now!"
Mia shouted. With a sudden burst of power, the Starfire pivoted and fired at the enemy ships surrounding them. Brilliant blasts lit up the dark space, surprising the Vortax and causing chaos in their ranks. Ships collided, tumbling into the void. "Keep firing," Jax yelled, his voice a mix of adrenaline and excitement. The tide of battle shifted, but the Vortax gathered their remaining strength for a final desperate attack. Sensing their chance, They sent 4 massive ships to overpower the Starfire. Mia felt the weight of the moment bear down on her. Elder Veller, can we amplify the shield further? She asked, desperate for an answer. Only with unity, Veller replied, closing his eyes again. Channel your strength, and the ship will respond. Recognizing the ritual's importance, Mia called for her crew to join hands. Collectively, the crew of the Starfire focused their energy, drawing from the unity and strength of humanity and their allies. As they connected, the ship responded, surging with a brilliant glow. An immense wave of energy enveloped the Starfire, enhancing its shields to a level unseen. The Vortex launched their attack, but the energy absorbed the blasts, turning them harmless. Fire back, Mia commanded. With renewed power, the Starfire unleashed a shockwave of energy, obliterating the pursuing Vortex ships in an incredible explosion that lit the stars around them. The remaining Vortex ships ceased their attack, scattering like leaves in the wind. Mia and her crew erupted in cheers. They had done it. The colony of New Haven was saved. The grateful humans of New Haven soon watched as the Starfire descended through clouds of smoke, landing gently on the planet's surface. As the crew emerged, they were met with cheers of joy and gratitude from the survivors. Families reunited, and the bonds of humanity grew stronger. In that moment, Mia knew the galaxy may have turned away, but Earth's Deathworlders had responded with courage and unity. Together, they were a force that would not be ignored, and even the darkest threats could be overcome when they stood together. And so, the legend of the Starfire and its brave crew spread across the galaxy, inspiring others to stand up against darkness, reminding them that hope could always shine through, no matter the circumstances.
Type Sci-Fi.
The year is 2342. Earth, once a vibrant blue marble, was now a scarred battlefield. For decades, the Zargonian armada had rained fire upon it, seeking to claim its resources. But Earth's people, forged in the crucible of countless wars, refused to yield. They were Deathworlders, as the snobbish Galactic Concord called them, and they were about to show the galaxy why that name was earned. General Ava Rostova stared at the holographic display, the crimson dots representing Zargonian warships circling Earth like vultures. Her face was grim. "They think they can break us," she muttered, her voice raspy from sleepless nights. "They think we'll just surrender." Beside her, Commander Jianli, a young officer with eyes that held the weight of the world, shook his head. "We haven't come this far to surrender, General. We have the defenses, the spirit, and now, the Phoenix Project." Ava nodded, her gaze hardening. The Phoenix Project was their last gamble, a secret weapon built from salvaged alien technology and human ingenuity. It was a ship unlike any other, capable of warping through space, not just to other planets, but to other galaxies. "Ready the launch sequence, Commander," Ava commanded. "It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you corner a Deathworlder." Meanwhile, light years away, on the opulent space station of the Galactic Concord, the mood was one of detached amusement. The Concord, an alliance of dozens of alien races, had observed Earth's plight with a mixture of pity and disdain. They considered humans too primitive, too violent, to be worth saving. Ambassador Thrax, a Grallian with iridescent skin and eyes like glittering gemstones, addressed the Concord Council. "The Earthlings are putting up a brave fight, but it is a futile one. The Zargonians are relentless. Earth will fall within the month." A murmur of agreement rippled through the council chamber. A few voices dared to suggest intervention, but they were quickly silenced. Earth was too far, the war too costly. Besides, as many pointed out, the humans were responsible for their own predicament. Their history was filled with conflict, their technology geared towards destruction. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the station. A klaxon wailed, and red lights flashed. Thrax frowned, annoyed by the interruption. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. A panicked voice crackled over the comm system. "Unidentified vessel detected. It's warping in from beyond the galactic rim. Its energy signature is off the charts." The council members exchanged nervous glances. Nothing could warp in from beyond the galactic rim. It was theoretically impossible. But the sensors didn't lie. On the main view screen, a swirling vortex of energy appeared, and from it emerged a sleek, black ship, unlike anything they had ever seen. It was the Phoenix. Inside the Phoenix, Ava addressed the crew. "All right, people, this is it. We're here to deliver a message. Let's make sure they understand it loud and clear." The Phoenix unleashed a barrage of advanced weaponry, disabling the Concorde's defense systems and communication arrays with frightening ease. The council members watched in horror as their station, once a symbol of galactic power, was rendered helpless. Ava Rostova's face appeared on every screen in the station, her image sharp and clear. Her voice, amplified by the Phoenix's advanced technology, echoed through the halls. "People of the Galactic Concorde," she began, her tone cold and resolute. "You stood by and watched as our world was ravaged. You judged us, deemed us unworthy of your help. Now, we are here to judge you." Thrax stepped forward, his voice trembling.
Who are you?
"What do you want?" Ava's eyes narrowed. "We are the people of Earth, and we want you to know that you made a mistake. You underestimated us. You thought we were weak. But Deathworlders don't die easily. We adapt, we endure, and we fight back." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the faces of the terrified council members. "We are not here to conquer or destroy. We are here to offer you a choice. Help us defeat the Zargonians, and we will consider forgiving your inaction. Refuse, and we will leave you to face them alone." The silence that followed was deafening. The council members looked at each other, their arrogance replaced by fear and uncertainty. They had always believed themselves to be untouchable, protected by their technology and their alliances. Now, they realized that they were vulnerable and that their survival depended on the very people they had dismissed. The Phoenix remained in orbit, a silent sentinel, waiting for their answer. On Earth, Jianli watched the news reports with a growing sense of hope. The Concorde was in chaos, their leaders scrambling to assess the situation and formulate a response. "Do you think they'll help us, General?" Jian asked. Ava shrugged. "I don't know, Commander. But one thing is certain. We've shown them that we're not to be trifled with. Whether they choose to stand with us or against us, the galaxy will never look at Earth the same way again." Days turned into weeks. The Zargonian armada continued its assault on Earth, but the attacks were less frequent, less intense. Rumors spread that the Zargonians were diverting resources to defend against a potential counterattack from the Concorde. Finally, the message arrived. The Galactic Concorde had agreed to assist Earth. A fleet of warships, bearing the colors of a dozen different races, warped into Earth's orbit, ready to engage the Zargonian armada. The battle was fierce, a clash of technologies and ideologies. But this time, the humans were not alone. They fought alongside the Grallians, the KRYLL, the Valerians, and many other races who had once dismissed them as savages. Ava Rostova stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, directing the battle with unwavering resolve. She watched as Zargonian warships exploded in fiery bursts, their reign of terror finally coming to an end. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned. Earth, the death world, had proven its worth. It had forced the galaxy to acknowledge its existence, to recognize its strength. And in doing so, it had paved the way for a new era of cooperation and understanding. As the last Zargonian warship limped away, Ava Rostova allowed herself a small smile. "We showed them, Commander," she said softly. "We showed them what Deathworlders are made of." Jianli nodded, his eyes filled with pride. "We did, General. We showed them that even the smallest planet can stand tall when its people refuse to be broken." The galaxy had turned away from Earth, but Earth had responded. It had risen from the ashes, stronger and more determined than ever. And in doing so, it had earned its place among the stars.